Hi there and welcome to part 5 of my 100-day drawing challenge for 2019, and today I'm going to be showing you prompts 28 to 34. Prompt number 28 was instrument, and I drew a cute little character with a guitar. I wanted to draw something a little bit different to last year. Last year I did a violin, and I thought of a lot of different instruments to do for this and decided ultimately that a guitar would be the easiest for me to draw. I thought that some other instruments might be really complicated and it was kind of difficult for me to think of an overall theme for the drawing. I decided on a bit of a weird colour scheme. I wasn't 100% sure whether these colours would go together, but I went for it anyway and just kind of hoped for the best. So I went with a dark blue, a kind of bright pinkish purple, and then a paler purple as well, and then blue in the background. So it was kind of a pink, purple, blue type colour scheme, and I really like it actually. It is a little bit weird. I think the background colour I would change if I were doing this again to, I'm not sure what, just a slightly different colour, but overall I quite like this. This week I really started to try and make my drawings for this challenge really concise, and I've really gotten into drawing the character in a circle or a square of some kind, just to kind of contain it into a smaller image instead of using the entire page. Because using the entire page was A, really time consuming and meant that each drawing took me a really long time, and B, it meant that a lot of the time there was a lot of blank white space behind the character. So instead I've been trying to contain my drawings into a smaller space just so that I don't have to spend hours and hours and hours filling an entire page every day. And it also just makes the drawings look a lot more concise and a bit more thought out, and I really like this, and I've been really trying to implement this in every single one of the drawings. I do think that this one is a little bit messy in places. It wasn't the most well thought out drawing this week, but I don't hate it, and I actually really like the colour scheme. Prompt number 29 was feathers, and I drew a cute character with two little birds sitting on her head and on her lap, and she has a dress that is kind of made of feathers at the top. Again, I wanted to try out this idea of doing a circle in the background, and then the character is kind of breaking the bounds of that circle, just to kind of make the drawing look a bit more concise. Again, a bit of a weird colour scheme for this one. I went with blue and yellow. I'm honestly not sure why. I'm not 100% sold on whether these colours go together, but I just went for it anyway. One of the little birds on her head is blue and the little bird on her lap is yellow. And I did kind of a bright blonde for the hair, and then yellow in the background, and then all these little feathers kind of floating around either side of her. I quite like the hair in this actually. It was supposed to look kind of messy because she kind of has a bird nesting on her head, so I just thought it would be cute if she had really messy hair. But other than that, I'm not super keen on the way that the feathers are drawn. I think it was a little bit lazy, admittedly, because I didn't have a lot of time, and I'm also just not great at drawing feathers. I really don't know how to draw feathers properly, but this was a good little bit of practice. And I do think it's cute overall, but it's not my favourite, because I also am not sure about the colour scheme, but it's okay. Prompt number 30 was armour. And again, unfortunately, this one isn't one of my favourites. I just drew a character in some armour, and that's pretty much all there is to it. I went with a square in the background again, like I have done for some of my other ones. And for the colour scheme, I kept it pretty simple and pretty neutral. I did add some metallic marker in the end. But other than that, this one's pretty simple and a little bit boring, unfortunately. It's not one of my favourites, but it's okay. I don't hate it. I do like that I've decided to start doing this thing of having a shape in the background and then having the character kind of break the bounds of that shape, because I just really like how it keeps the drawings kind of concise. I know I said that earlier, but yeah, I just think this week was a lot of experimentation with how to pull off each of the drawings without taking up a million years of time trying to fill the entire page. And also, unfortunately, I kind of hate to say this, but it's also just kind of so they look better on Instagram. I think it's kind of difficult to get a drawing to look good on Instagram sometimes, because I've finished drawings in the past that I thought looked really good, but because I didn't add a background to them, as soon as they're photographed it just looks really kind of washed out, and I don't know. So I've just been trying to put a block colour in the background to make the character pop a little bit, and I'm really happy with the effect that it gives with some of these. Prompt number 31 is alpaca, and I just drew a cute little character with an alpaca. So I really didn't want to draw a real alpaca because I thought it would be kind of difficult. I'm really not great at drawing animals. So instead I went with an alpaca that is a little bit more familiar to me, and that is the alpacacer. I just wanted to do something really cute and kind of pastel coloured. I went with a couple of different pastel colours. We got a pastel pink and a pastel purple and a blue, and I just went with something really simple and really cute. I didn't add a shape in the background of this one, and I think that already it's kind of obvious that this one doesn't look as finished as the others do, which I think is really interesting because I like this one and I like the way the character looks, but I kind of wish I'd added that shape in the background like I have done with my other ones. But overall I really like this. I think it's really cute. It is really simple, but I didn't have a lot of time to do something complicated, so I'm glad that I just kept it simple, did something cute, and I think it turned out okay. I do really like the coloured line art on this one too. I have been using just black and brown a lot recently for the line art, so I'm glad that I went back to using fine liners for this one, and I'm going to try and do that a bit more in the future. And yeah, if I were doing this again, I would just change the overall image and try and add a very simple background to it, just to bring it all together. Prompt number 32 is tropical. So this one, admittedly, I don't like as much as my tropical drawing from last year. I think that last year it was one of my favourites from last year overall, so I had a lot to live up to, but this one kind of ended up not as good as I was imagining. So I went with that circle again in the background, and went with a lot of different shades of green for the colour scheme, and then a couple of bright colours too, but I feel like I didn't really add enough bright colours. So I don't think that this necessarily screams tropical overall. I have used all those tropical leaves, but yeah, I just wish I'd used more bright colours with this. So I drew a character in the middle of the circle, kind of, and then all of these big tropical leaves around the edges. I like the way the leaves look, actually. They turned out okay, considering I'm not great at drawing like wildlife and foliage and that kind of thing. I think it turned out alright, but I think the character just looks really simple. And then I added a couple of flowers around the edge, but not many. There's like 6 flowers altogether. There's like 4 little ones at the top and 2 at the bottom. I just wish I'd added more bright flowers to this. I feel like I was really lazy with that. But then with this one, I decided to do something that I've been practicing a little bit lately off camera, but I feel like I'm not at all skilled enough at yet. And that's why this kind of turned out not very good. But lately I've been really into using washi tapes and laying the tape over the drawing and then cutting it so that you get like a pattern on the drawing. I've seen a lot of people do this online. It's quite a popular thing, or it was a little while ago. But I'm just not very good at it yet. So this didn't turn out great. I put the tape over her dress to kind of give her dress a pattern. But it ended up looking a little weird. I don't hate it, but I just don't think this is great. I just kind of wish that I hadn't bothered with the tape and I just coloured her dress like a really bright colour, and then outlined her really brightly and then had those greens in the background. I just think that that would have worked a bit better for the tropical prompt than what I ended up creating. But I don't hate it. It's just not my favourite. Prompt number 33 was mushrooms, and this one is probably my favourite prompt from this week. So I drew this cute little character. I did a little bit of a circle for the ground, or to indicate the ground, and then a box in the background, again just kind of trying to make this a kind of concise idea and drawing. And then I drew all these little mushrooms around for the prompt. I went with bright red and a lot of different shades of green and brown for the colour scheme. I do think that the green I ended up using for the background was a little bit too bright, or like too pale, because I feel like it makes this overall look a little bit too pastel coloured, whereas I wanted it to be really foresty and like dark green and dark brown, but I still don't hate it. I actually really like the way this is drawn. Again, I tried to use that style that I've been using for like my child characters, like I did with the Bugs and Beetles prompt. I just really like that style of drawing, and I'm getting into drawing in that style a lot more often. So yeah, I love this little character. I'm so glad that this turned out good, because I was really excited for this one, and I think I came up with a really cute and quite simple idea for it, but I think it's effective. So I drew all these little different mushrooms at the bottom, and then a couple in the background, and a couple decorating the borders of the background too. I think that my least favourite thing about this is the placement of the foot. That's kind of, this character's kind of running forward and one foot is up behind, but I feel like I drew it at the wrong angle and it really bugs me. But other than that, I really like this one. I'm so proud of it. This is definitely my favourite from this week, and probably up there as one of my favourites from the entire challenge. I really want to start doing a lot more stuff in this style, and hopefully my prompts from now on will be to this level, because I really like this one. Prompt number 34 is ballet. This one isn't one of my absolute favourites, but I also don't dislike it. I just think that it's quite simple. I didn't do anything really ambitious with it. I went with the circle in the background again because, like I said with all of my other prompts, I've really been enjoying doing a shape in the background just to kind of tie the whole thing together. And then I just drew this cute character doing some ballet moves. I didn't use a reference for this, I just made it up, and that might be a bad thing. I don't know. I think it looks okay. I don't think that it looks like incorrect, but I might have been able to come up with a more complicated or visually interesting pose if I'd have looked up a reference. But I do think this is really cute. I kept it simple. I kept her outfit really simple too, because I didn't want to attempt anything too ambitious just because I didn't have a lot of time. But I like the circle in the background. I think it ties it all together. I kept the dress kind of light and flowy. I think it really goes with the theme. And then I kept the colour scheme quite pale too, and used a couple of different shades of pink, and in the background it's kind of a purplish pink. I think it's really cute and simple. Alright, so that is all the prompts for this week. That was prompts 28 to 34. Overall, I'm pretty happy with them. I'm definitely starting to get into the rhythm of this new style of doing a shape in the background and then decorating the outside of that shape and then doing a character that's kind of breaking the bounds of the shape. I just think it's a really cool look for each of the illustrations, especially since I don't have a lot of time each day. It just keeps it nice and concise so that I can definitely finish it and to a fairly good standard. I definitely think my favourite from this week was that mushrooms prompt. I think it turned out really cute, and I definitely want to try and draw more in that style in the future. So yeah, overall I'm really happy with the ones from this week, and I definitely want to continue to do some simple flat colour backgrounds because I really think it makes the character pop, and I'm really excited to continue doing this and experiment with it more and hopefully improve at it and improve at doing some quite simple backgrounds. Because I really think it just makes the character pop, and I think that all of my artwork has looked slightly better since I've implemented this very simple idea. But yeah, that's all the prompts from this week. I am actually a little bit late recording my voiceover for this, so I've actually already done a couple of prompts for the next week, so I'm hopefully going to be recording and posting that pretty soon actually, because I'm a little bit late with this one. But yeah, I'm excited, and I'm excited to continue trying to experiment with style and hopefully improve all of my drawings overall. But anyway, that's all for now, and goodbye.